The pivotal event, in my personal opinion, of the Obama administration was the preparations for the second election, not even the first. Who do they put in charge of the office when the birth certificates are being issued in Hawaii? The CIA operative. Wake the fuck up. Are you listening? Do people understand what we're saying here? It's been right in front of you the whole fucking time. And I use that word with precision because that's what they're doing to your brain. This is really important, Field. This is where we all slow down for a second. Listen to what I'm telling you. It's been right in front of you the whole fucking time.
That's a fraudulent document. You don't get a clearer definition than a fraudulent document. This carries federal penalties. And understand one other thing. The state of Hawaii has done everything they can to stay away from validating that image.
So Loretta Fuddy gets the director's job at the Hawaii Department of Public Health.
The state of Hawaii has done everything they can to stay away from validating that image.
Who is Loretta Fuddy?
Trump again refused to say with his own words that the president was born in the United States.
We proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the media will not cover, again, probably the biggest cover-up in history, and the media is involved in it.
Imagine a president who sees someone who doesn't look like him and doesn't agree with him and thinks that person must not be a real American.
You were part of a campaign to delegitimize a president of the United States? Matters, no?
No. I started this because of fake document, a government document. I didn't care where the president came from.
He is feeding into the worst impulses, the bigotry and bias that lurks in our country.
You know, this idea that you're a racist, and I know that really gets under your skin.
Not really. Because when they can't get you on anything else, they throw the race card.
How did she get in office? She was the director of the Hawaii Department of Public Health. She was appointed to that position, placed in that position after the prior director, with only an hour or two's notice, was notified that he needed to resign by the governor. Why? Because he was forced to, and he didn't even know what the charges really related to. Why was that? Because he wouldn't be a shill. And the reason is, you go back to other operations, they couldn't externally change a paper record in the offices of the Hawaii Department of Public Health. They couldn't do that online through a computer or some other operation. They needed a person, an entity, to actually go in and physically be part of that operation with actual signing authority. And at a certain point, far enough out to this 2012 election cycle, where President considering and floating the idea that he was going to run for office. The president, our now president, but then not even announced as a candidate, Citizen Trump, said himself, well, yeah, where is the birth certificate? You know, who is this guy?
Why? A few just simple questions. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? Number one. You know, they say it's sealed. Well, but for the person, you can release it. If it's a person, you can release. Sure, it's sealed. It should be sealed. That's great. Why did he spend millions of dollars on trying to stay away from this issue? Why doesn't he give his birth certificate?
Well, the one thing on his side is that they had these announcements in the newspaper
Means
8
nothing.
days after.
8 days later.
Yeah.
It was 8 days. Look, he's got a grandmother in Kenya who said he was born in Kenya at the hospital. Then there was bedlam in the room. Bedlam. I don't mean like a little, you know, because he was close to becoming president. And there were a lot of people in that room. And she was talking to a reporter with a lot of handlers, a lot of Obama handlers. So they have the grandmother, she said Kenya. Then all of a sudden, 51 seconds later, he asked a question again. And you hear people scream, no, Hawaii, Hawaii. Okay, give me a break. Now, it's one of two things. Either he wasn't born in the country, or he doesn't have a birth certificate or there's something on the birth certificate that he doesn't want people
What do you
to
think
see.
that could be?
I don't know.
That got a lot of traction. A lot of people repeated that, and he was well known for taking that stand, asking the question, not making a statement, he's not an American citizen, blah, 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 just where's the birth certificate? And he was somewhat famous for that. People really latched on to that. So there was momentum building concerning this birth certificate. So the existing director of public health having to step down and move out of the way, and then this woman being appointed to the position, Loretta Fuddy. Well, who's Loretta Fuddy? She's this unknown lady. What's her history? What's her work history? Loretta Fuddy was the financial director, head of the financial department for the non-religious organization called SUBUD, SUBUD. She's living over in Bellevue, Washington at the time, or got her offices there. And suddenly she comes over to Hawaii to be director of Hawaii Department of Public Health. She comes in, everybody else doesn't know how to run this operation. She moves a couple desks around, she moves a picture on the wall, they clean the safe out, they check the drain hole, oops, look, here's the birth certificate. It was right there in plain sight the whole time, it's hiding underneath the drain pipe. Somebody dropped it, whatever. She comes out, she produces it, the attorney from Perkins Coie comes out, gets it, personally flies it back to Washington, D.C. It's just a digital representation. She didn't have to pick up anything in person. You just send it over to freaking digitally, because there's nothing that was received in Washington. You couldn't just send digitally. Oh, she hand carries it. And then we have the reporters that are blessed, and they get to personally feel the raised indentation of the certificate being stamped and properly approved in Hawaii as a real birth certificate. I saw the raised seal. Really? Really? Seriously? Come on, man. It's been right in front of you the whole time. Right in your face. But we have a lot of people that don't want to believe the obvious. They want to be in denial. They don't want to, they don't want to be mean-spirited. They don't want to raise questions. Yeah, that's the person running your whole country, in charge of the whole world, getting into wars, killing people. And you don't ask any questions. So, this person, Loretta Fuddy, gets the birth certificate out there. There is some controversy. A few days go by. People are upset. They're starting to look at it, question it, second guess it. And then what happens? Obama has the press club meeting. President Trump, who's just Citizen Trump, happens to be at that, and he roasts the president, our current president, roasts Citizen Trump over his denial of, the birth certificate, the questions on the birth certificate, as though he's some kind of a idiot for believing there was no birth certificate. Well, it's been produced. Here it is. I have it now, and makes a big laugh out of it, a big joke out of it. Why do you think President Trump has no great interest in going to the dinner? Because those people treated him like shit when he was there before. It was all there's Loretta Fuddy. But then you forgot about even that. Why? Because the next day, miraculously, what took over the headlines? Osama bin Laden. They pull that card out that's been waiting for over a decade to play. If they have something really, really critical that you gotta get the press's attention and drag it off of something else, that one's there waiting for you. So they pull out the Osama bin Laden card. That seems plausible now, and then the SEALs that were supposedly part of that operation to go in and get Osama bin Laden. Where were they? Extortion 17. They killed our guys to maintain the cover-up. You know, eventually some of this stuff related to Loretta Fuddy might get some traction, asking questions about her history and her affiliations. By the way, who else belonged to Cebu? Obama's mama. Yeah, Loretta Fuddy and Stanley Ann Dunham, they're both members of Cebu. They're both in Indonesia at the same time. They both are in Seattle at similar times, out by the UW at the same time. They're both in Hawaii at similar times. You know what? Obama's mama, she's Supergirl. So's Loretta Fuddy. Think about it. Take a look. But now we look at this accident. You got to take this person off the thing. She's tired. She's worked life. She's had her life. She wants to go enjoy herself. She doesn't want to be caught up in a cover operation forever. It's fake. It's Hollywood. It's theater. The plane crash was a low-speed water landing. The pilot had a stunt pilot history. He had a racing plane. The players on the plane are all lying. Every single one of them is a liar. The Q postings today, I thought, needed to have a little extra flavor on it. Of course, I have a lot of skin in the game from the last many years related to this particular event, and so I wanted to take a minute just to add a little extra to it. I think it is the pivotal event, the Fuddy plane crash. I don't think there's any other event where all the various assets, all the various players had to call in every favor, every mechanism, every tool, every contact to protect and promote and carry off this event smoothly. And why? Because the CIA asset that they were taking off the board to send to Valhalla to protect, to enjoy the rest of their life relaxing after a lifetime of service. They did everything to protect that asset. Loretta Fuddy did not die in Kalaupapa, Hawaii.